Okay, I thought of a couple other little tidbits of information that I wanted to share with you. I mentioned that my one recipe, the Kaiser rolls, calls for malt powder, and I was using molasses. Okay, I'm going to give you a little tip here. I'm the only woman in this house, so I need to be productive, and I need to be organized, and I need to keep moving, and I don't like excess work. So, that being said, when it calls for something like molasses, and that same recipe calls for oil, I put the oil in first. It calls for a tablespoon of oil, and it calls for a tablespoon of molasses. So if you think ahead on your recipes, you will find that you can make your life a lot easier, and you'll have less cleanup. So if you put the oil in first and then put your molasses in second, the molasses won't stick to your tablespoon. You can easily wipe it off and keep going versus having to stop and wash it to get that molasses off in the event that you need to put additional dry ingredients in afterwards. So that oil makes it really easy for that molasses just to run right off that spoon. I'm also very organized. As I use the ingredients I need, I put them away so I have workspace. We're still under construction here, so I don't have, for lack of better terms, a normal kitchen. But my kitchen works just fine, and when it's done, it'll be awesome. But right now, I'm making do with what I have and the space I have and how things are set up. So, but I like to keep things clean. I like to put things away, and I like to be able to move on to the next project. So, those are just my thoughts I thought I would share with you. Something else I mentioned yesterday in my pizza dough video is if you don't have baking equipment and you don't have pizza pans and you don't have cookie sheets and all that stuff that you need, you do not need to spend a fortune to attain them. I am not a shopper. I actually loathe shopping. I just do. I'll shop online if I need something. Amazon is great. I even get some of my ingredients for our food cache from Amazon because I get it for free shipping. So it's just like going to the store, and I don't have to waste my time. The other thing, and one thing that I do enjoy doing, is antiquing and thrifting, because I can find stuff so cheap, and, you know, couple cents here, couple cents there. Some of these places have specials, sales, you know, throughout the week, and if you go on those days, you know, I get out once every 3 months maybe, and I'll do my errands and hit a thrift store or something, and we do our grocery shopping pretty much the same. We stock up in August, somewhere between August and October. We stock up and really reload everything up so that we don't have to do our grocery shopping at all through winter, because there's times when we can't get out of here due to the weather and our lane and so forth. So, and plus we choose to stay home. So, you know, we'll shop every 3 months just to eliminate that being a chore that needs to be done. I enjoy stocking up, and I grew up with a family that did that, so it just makes it really nice. Copper, it's okay. The guys are out shooting and left her inside, and she doesn't like it, so she's fussing. Just about lost an egg there, sorry. But go to the thrift stores and buy your things. As I mentioned yesterday, you know, yes, you're getting something used. It's no different than yard sale shopping. But you know what? You bring it home, you Clorox it good, and you can use a paste of baking soda and peroxide and clean and scrub down, you know, cookie sheets and bread pans and stuff like that. I was very blessed that my mother sent me out some really nice stainless steel bread pans. I have several glass ones. I have some aluminum ones. I hate Teflon. Teflon is such a waste because the coating comes off and it puts garbage in your food. And so I like stainless steel, and I like the glass. And I've found several glass ones at the thrift stores and stuff. But being that I make so much bread at one time, that was one of her gifts to me. So thanks, Mom. But I think those are the tips I wanted to share with you for now. I am mixing these things up, and I am letting the bread sponge up here. Now these are not going to sponge like my pizza dough did. It's not going to be as visible of a sponge. But what I mean by that is allowing your yeast and your other basic ingredients to come together. Your yeast will often, it almost looks like it is bubbled up, and it ends up looking like a puffy sponge in your bowl. You will find that some of your recipes don't require that it sponges, you just combined everything together. But they usually recommend that you set your yeast and your oils and sugars and salt and so forth together and just let them sit for a little bit. Now this recipe for the bread, the Alabama bread, calls for Crisco. If I use Crisco, I use buttered Crisco. Unless I'm making icing, I'll use the regular Crisco, but my preference is lard. Eventually we won't be purchasing any Crisco. We'll be using our own lard that we make from whatever animals that we are getting during hunting season. So it's just a matter of us getting ourselves in shape here and getting everything in order the way we'd like it. Our first 2 years here has been spent building, and we really tried to get as much of the organic and raw ingredients that we can, you know, that's the best for our family, but we'd also like to try to gain as much of it that we can grow or harvest, such as the bees. We will be getting 3 bee boxes in May and starting to harvest our own honey, which we will use for all of our sugar. So it's really a great way to do things. We're also getting milk goats, which of course we won't be able to get the milk until next year. But Austin is high functioning autistic, the mountain boy, and he is on a gluten-free, which is no wheat, and a casein-free diet, which is no dairy. And cow's milk has casein in it. So does goat's milk, but it is not the same type of casein, which is the milk fat. It is different, and it is said that some kids that are autistic can handle the goat's milk. So as much as we don't want to test that out, we're going to give it a little trial run and see if he can handle the goat's milk, because if he can, I can then make our butter and we'll have milk and we can do ice cream and do it all on our own. One of the things with autism, these kids can't handle the gluten and the dairy. Part of what it does, and this is a little kind of like a TMI, but it's interesting information, especially if you have an autistic child and you are not on the gluten-free, casein-free diet. When he has dairy, it actually causes him to lose the sensation of his bowels, that he no longer can tell whether he needs to make a bowel movement or not. It's that extensive and excessive, and it ruins their system. So it's really vital. Copper, it's okay. Settle down. It's really vital that they're on this diet. Not only does it affect them physically, but mentally it also affects them. If you have an autistic child that has absolute roller coaster days where they're up and down and all over the place, they can't sit still, they can't hold a conversation for more than a minute, and they also have excessive issues with outbursts and nastiness, that's their diet. And that can be completely removed. When I started Austin on this diet, I actually got to meet my son for the first time, because he could sit down and actually hold a conversation with me. And he also shared with me that his stomach doesn't hurt any longer every time he eats, but he couldn't tell me that prior. So it's really, really important that if you have an autistic child, you make the efforts to get them on a gluten-free and a casein-free diet. It's a little overwhelming at first, especially if you do a lot of packaged foods. But if you're making your own foods, it's really not that difficult. Homeschooling is a blessing because we don't have to worry about the lunch meals. But the wheat and the dairy is stuffed in all kinds of stuff as filler. So it's also very difficult reading the ingredients on things, because the government permits people to just say and additional flavorings. And in that additional flavorings is wheat and dairy and everything else. So it really makes it hard. MSG is another big one that people really struggle with. But it's not that difficult if you take the time to make things yourself. And you can take a day on a Saturday and make multiple things on a Saturday that you can use throughout the week. I used to send Austin's lunches when he did go to school, and made everything from scratch then as well. If you're replacing the dairy, you can use coconut milk, you can use almond, rice, soy. Soy is hard on their digestive system, but the other milks are great. Coconut is awesome. A lot of benefits from coconut and almond. And the coconut is thicker, and it makes it really nice to bake and cook with. But those are just some things I thought I would share with you. I'm going to jump off of here. Actually, I'm going to show you the Kaiser roll. You can see it's starting to sponge a little bit here, where the yeast is getting a little puffy, and I will show you that. And then I'm going to go on to getting these things ready so that they'll start rising, because there's some more I want to show you with that. But here, you can see how it's starting to kind of look spongy like, and I will let these start rising. It takes about an hour for them to rise. I may jump back with other ideas and tidbits, but thanks for watching. And also, if you have found me but you haven't found the rest of my family, Mountain Man Journals is out on YouTube, and Mountain Boy Journals is also out on YouTube. We've she's playing with a bone now. We have websites, we have YouTubes, and we're also on Twitter. We really enjoy educating people on what we do, and inspiring other people to do what we do, because it's an awesome lifestyle and it's not that hard to do. There's work involved, but the gratification that comes with it is amazing. So check them out. Wilderness Freak 81 is a good friend of ours, and you can check his page out also. And Lumberman 2011 and Joe's Neon, some other good pages to check out. But I'm going to jump off here while she's going psycho on me, and I'm going to get these breads ready, and I'll jump back on. All right.